Oh my, a free wheel? Help! Help me! What is that? Cookie Johnson? Is that you? Man, make another video! Now hello, my name is Cookie, and I'm a variety streamer who's most notable for having a rodent in his house named Nessie, who's very famous for biting the shit out of me. Now, I had a very difficult time trying to find a game to review because Roblox is a dying platform, and everything that's coming out is really terrible. So I scounged and I scurried across the For You page trying to find something until a little birdie came up to me and told me, "Have you heard of a game called Redliner?" Now, I had not, so I went and checked it out, and yeah, Redliner is really fun. Now, Redliner is a movement-based FPS game that is heavily inspired by Titanfall and Ultra Kill. Consisting of melees, guns, parries, grapples, dashes, slides, wall running, bee-hopping, this game kind of has it all when it comes to movement FPS games, and I've had a really difficult time trying to find another Roblox game that's at all similar to this. This game's aesthetic is very much a combination of Ghost Runner, Cyberpunk, and Neon White, and has some of my favorite breakcore artists as their music. This game is on PC, console, and mobile. However, this game does seem to be super ping reliant, so if you're playing in the middle of Budapest, I'm sorry, you're not gonna have a fun time. Now, a quick rundown of the mechanics before we get into the good and bad. There's momentum, bullets, and instability. Your momentum is how fast you're going, duh. And being faster than your opponent is always the goal. There's bullets, which you get by damaging your opponent and other stuff. And instability. Instability goes too high and you can no longer parry, melee, or shoot. Instability goes up by a couple of things. Clashing with an enemy, and whoever is faster will deal more instability damage. False parries, and ground slams. You can make your instability go down by successfully parrying gunshots, and or meleeing, I think, don't quote me. There's also some other mechanics, but I'm not here to be a guide, so figure it out yourself, you bum. Now let's go on to the goods of this game. This game's movement is extraordinarily satisfying, similar to that of Titanfall 2 back in 2016, which is by far my favorite FPS game of all time. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's a momentum-based combat system instead of your standard hold angles and blah 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 FPS system. I think it also adds a lot of counterplay. Not only can you outmaneuver your opponent, but when you get instability broken, you're not just a sitting duck. You can move around, and since you can get really fast really quickly, it can be pretty hard to catch someone if they're running away from you. But a lot of it is this grappler. This grappler is your best friend. This thing can grapple onto basically anything, including the players, and it's how you get all of your momentum. If you grapple from high up in the air, you can grapple downwards onto the ground and ground slam into someone, which causes their instability to skyrocket. You can grapple with a midair and it'll send you flying towards them. It's just, it's such a good feature. And if you're scared to learn the movement in this game, don't worry, there's a training area where you can also go and test out all of the guns and also learn how to parry there. Our next positive is the UI. I know UI can be a turnoff for a lot of games, and myself included have quit multiple games just because the UI is so terrible. But despite how unique this game's UI is, it is incredibly well done. It is very clutter-free and tells you all of the necessary information you need, and despite the giant flashing red circle in your screen when you get instability broken, you can still see everything. The menus also just look really nice. Now, I was going to have to mention it at some point. And for our third positive, the parry system. I love parry systems. I feel like they add a complete another sense of uniqueness to a game, and Redliner's parry system is really well done. It's a super satisfying and very well responsive parry system, which I know a lot of games struggle with, like Type Soul, and basically any other Duke Woken clone. It's also super easy to get into parrying in this game since there's only two things to parry, so you're not going to be sitting there learning the animations for everything. When a bullet comes towards you, there's a giant arrow on your screen telling you where it's coming from, and you look in that direction and parry. Now, despite how great this game is, unfortunately it's still an alpha, so there's not really a whole lot to actually say minus the gameplay that I've already told you about, so our next section will be negatives. The lock-on system is my first negative. Boy howdy do I fucking hate the gun lock-on system. Sometimes it can be really good and it can hit someone from across the map. Sometimes it will genuinely miss the person sitting right in front of you. It's a very frustrating lock-on system. And again, the game is only an alpha, so I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, but ooh. The second negative is the learning curve. It can be a kind of brutal experience trying to learn all of the mechanics in this game. I don't think it's as bad as some other games, but it's still pretty difficult and might be a little daunting for new players. And for our third and final negative of the video, this game can feel really chaotic at times, especially in FFA mode. If you're playing against a bunch of high-skilled players, this game can feel like a neuro overload with how much is going on sometimes. But for the most part, it's relatively tame because you're only going to be doing 1v1s unless you're an FFA freak.
Don't forget 2v2s, you stupid wench!
Oh yeah, and 2v2s. Forgot about that. So do I think Redliner is a game worth playing? 100%. This game has been the most fun I've had on Roblox in a while, and I think it is an incredibly unique system, especially if you like movement-based FPS games. If you're a really competitive person, you can get super into it with the 1v1s and 2v2s, and if you just want to fuck around with your friends, then hey, you can create a private server and go into a matchmake with all of them. But that's really all I have to say about this game, so I'll leave you guys with the rest of this 1v1 footage. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. If there's anything you want me to review, Roblox or not, feel free to comment it. And until next time, toodaloo. Whoa. Was that Aura?